My name is David Remes, R-E-M-E-S, and I am a Guantanamo lawyer. I spend all of my time doing Guantanamo work. I consider myself a human rights lawyer, but I'm really a Guantanamo lawyer.
Can you tell us from your experiences, what's the current situation like at Guantanamo Bay right now?
The men tell me that they're desperate, frustrated, and it's obvious from the fact that most of them have been hunger striking since February 6th, and most have lost between 40 and 60 pounds. 40 is a very low estimate. Think of not eating. The ones who are being force fed turn out to have more energy and focus than the ones who aren't, but they're still wraiths compared to what they used to be. It's a very, very horrific situation.
From your experience, what's the most outrageous thing you've experienced or saw down at Guantanamo Bay?
Well, I'd have to put this in terms of what my clients have witnessed and experienced. They've witnessed and experienced humiliating body searches, disrespect of their religion in so many ways, either interrupting prayer or, and I think this is most horrible of all, taking them to a special room and punishing them by shaving off their beards, which is just what Germans did with old devout Jews in the 1930s. The humiliations are terrible, and the worst ones are the religious ones.
You talked about in your talk about a client of yours, and then you were interrupted. Can you finish telling us about your client, the Yemenis man who you were talking about, who was captured, who was an aid worker, I believe?
Yes, his name is Jamal al-Mari. His ISN number is, or was, I don't even remember because he was released in 2009. So he was helping this charity, which the U.S. thought was helping Al-Qaeda. And so he was picked up in the middle of the night in Karachi, roused out of bed, and he liked to say, "I'm not an enemy combatant, I'm a sleeping combatant." But he ended up in Guantanamo for 8 years. I just visited him in Yemen a couple of weeks ago. He's resumed his job as an engineer at an oil company. I talk about the differences among men. Two of my other clients who were released, who I met, work in a honey shop. These are individuals, they've gone back, tried to rebuild and reconstruct their lives. And it's just mind-boggling that they've had to give up so much of their life.
Are some of the individuals you represented, would you consider them innocent?
Innocent of what?
Innocent of terrorism, which they're being not really even charged with, but they're being detained because of. The clients you've represented, is there a case where someone was completely innocent from your beliefs and your interviews with them?
Well, practically all of the men who are there unlawfully. The United States has absolutely no right to hold them. The United States hasn't claimed that any of them have attacked the United States, except those in the military commission cases. Most of them are being held because the government alleges some link, however tenuous, to Al-Qaeda or the Taliban. None of them, as I say, have been accused of any crime. The United States doesn't even claim they've engaged in terrorist activities. They just sort of knew the wrong people or were linked to the wrong people. And we're definitely at the wrong place at the wrong time because, for example, the Taliban was fighting a civil war. Some supported the Taliban in the civil war. The United States becomes an enemy of the Taliban. The men become an enemy of the United States. That's all it is.
From your point of view, can you tell us about how do you think this recent hunger strike started at Guantanamo Bay?
I think the immediate factor that precipitated it was the Quran search, which was completely unjustified by any event that had occurred. That was a return to the Bush-era policies of detention, and that was part of a general overall crackdown on detainees by this new commander who took over. the command could have ended this hunger strike in about 3 days if it had just sat down and talked with them about their Quran concerns. Instead, the administration refused to blink first, and the hunger strike went on, and now it's become a protest, a general protest about indefinite detention.
Do you think Guantanamo Bay will ever close?
No.
Is there anything the people who are watching online, is there anything the public can do to either bring awareness or get involved somehow in this fight against indefinite detention?
I would just say that ordinary channels of citizen activism would be great. I don't know, PTA, Elks, I don't know where you could have an effective forum, but wherever people take collective action at the citizen level, I would encourage everybody to get involved in these issues.
Is there anything else you'd like to say or comment on?
President Obama is the key to this. They can't be freed unless he acts. He won't act until he gets political courage to act, and he won't get political courage to act unless people push him to act.
As the White House attorney, you advised President Bush that he was above international law and the Geneva Conventions.
I didn't advise him that.
Yes, you did. There's a memo releasing that. And, keeping open Guantanamo Bay for torture?
That's a really major political question, but let me say this. You're asking the right person to give you the right answer, and that is